friends, some of you may be familiar with the very famous Herman Miller lounge chair designed by Charles and Ray Eames. Now, Ray Eames is from my hometown of Sacramento, but they did most of their work together down in the Los Angeles area. But for some reason, Sacramento has a lot of Eames chairs floating around. I've owned 3 of them. I've never paid more than $25 for one. Of course, this one here cost me $400 to have reupholstered. It was brown suede before. Anyway, I was at an art auction and these lamps came up. And they're purported to be of Eames design also. But they're more than 50 years old. The wire is all cracked. These need to be gone through and rehabbed. On the bright side, I know how to do that, and that's today's project. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is take them apart. This wood thing was on here. I'm going to have to rivet it back on. And we've already hit our first snag, and that is the wire is stuck. So what I think I'm going to do is just cut it off, and maybe we can pull it out the bottom. I really don't want to damage any of this wood. There we go. I want to replace these because this cup is the wrong size for the shades I have. Now you might recognize this from the Starbucks because that's where I got it. It's a hanging lamp and I've seen this in Starbucks in several states, but the cut that it takes is quite a bit smaller than this one. Then this is another type altogether. Now, I have no idea what that looks like, but I think we'll take these down to the lighting store and see if we can find the appropriate hardware to mount these glass covers. I want to use 2 of these on the one lamp and I want to use 2 of these on the other lamp. Now doing this is going to be a bit easier because this is an Edison bulb socket is what this attaches to. And I should be able to find that in brass and just screw it right on here, and then we'll have 2 of these on one of them and 2 of these on the other. So anyway, the first thing I think I should do is completely disassemble both of these. And they're looking really bad under there. Now I'm not sure what this is. It's either rocks or crushed up seashells embedded in epoxy. So I want to be real careful when I get to the idea of maybe heating that. No, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work. Since I know that thread size, and I know I can get a replacement nut, I'm going to come in here with a Dremel and cut that. Now, looking at the condition of this finish, I don't think anodized would rub off like that. Now, this wood needs to be refinished, and this metal, the finish is worn right off of it. I have no idea why that is, but the solution I'm going to apply is to spray paint it. Now, I did quite a bit of searching for Eames lamps, and it would appear that these are, in fact, Eames lamps, and they call this the tulip teak design. So when I was taking this apart, this plywood became delaminated a little bit on the end there. We're going to have to repair that, but that shouldn't be all that big a deal. Okay, now the fix on this is actually pretty easy. I'm just going to drive a wedge in there, which is my pocket knife, and let some glue flow in there. Now one thing I want to make sure not to do is break it. Just let gravity do its thing. Maybe give it a little of assistance. And I want to do the same thing on this piece of veneer out here. We'll wipe off any excess and put a clamp on that. And then wipe it off again. Then we'll take that clamp off in a couple of hours and we can address the idea of refreshing this wood finish. There's some residue on here that looks like they attempted to refresh that wood while it was still hooked up to the tube. I used some brake parts cleaner to try to get that off. Yeah, I don't know what this finish was. It's not anodized and it's not plating. But I'll tell you what it's going to be. Paint. And whatever it is coming off with the brake cleaner. Now have a look at that little bit of texture right there. I don't know what that's from, but that's going to have to be sanded out. I didn't notice it before. Okay, so I got on there with some brake cleaner, and whatever that was just wiped right off. And I know that this can had some contamination in it because the nozzle clogged on me. It had to be cleaned out. Okay, now the finish on some of this other hardware does not exactly match. So I think what I'm going to do is just paint this other hardware to match this also. I think all the prep I'm going to do on these is hit them with the brake parts cleaner, because there's already a finish on them that should act as a primer. These domes here are the ones that fit those red teardrop light shades that I have. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these or not yet. Now I'm pretty happy with this paint. That's going to look just fine. And the next thing I want to do is apply this Restore Finish compound to the wood. But before I do that, I think I want to run the wire through here because I got a feeling it's going to give me a little bit of trouble. Oh, and thankfully I've been proven wrong. That was quite painless. Let me try this other one. Because I know getting the wire out was really difficult. Okay. Alright, now we'll go on to this wood refresh job. And it looks like all I need to do is wipe this on and then hang it to dry. What this stuff says it does is dissolves the old finish and freshens it up with its own new coat. This looks very promising. Now we'll just let those dry, then we'll reattach them to the tubes. Now I'm not sponsored by Ace, but I'll tell you this, if you join their rewards program, they'll send you $5 for free on your birthday. And I couldn't find my riveter. I went over there and I found this one for $15 with my $5 off coupon, $10. And this is a pretty nice riveter. The rivets that were in there were steel and they were somehow tinted brown. I got copper rivets to replace them. And these two look the same, but look at the difference in the hole placement. Got to make sure you get it onto the right tube. And that is looking pretty good in my mind. I'm glad I had two of these lamps, otherwise I'd be going back and looking at the video to catch the orientation again. Alright, I am happy with that. Okay, that switch cleaned up nicely. It was working just fine. So we'll just put that right back in. I got new washers. I got new nuts too, but I had to buy all these just to get the two that I needed. I need to file that a little bit because the Dremel messed it up some. That is looking good. I am very happy with that. Now that was a little bit of a pain to get that threaded through there. But then we get these wires plugged in, which looks like it's going to be an equal pain. I went to school with a fellow who was of Norse heritage, and he would stick his thumb into a light bulb socket with some regularity to get himself charged up. Thought it made him look like a Viking. I guess it made him feel like a Viking. I'll install my socket wrench. And something I'm going to do this time that I did not do before is I'm going to back wind the cord a little bit because it was twisting up in there as I installed the other one. See that notch there? You get that when you cut a live wire. When you wrap a wire around a screw, the screw tightens by turning clockwise. You want to wrap the wire around in a clockwise direction. That way it tends to draw the wire in as you tighten it. Now here in the US, household voltage is 120 volts. And if you're looking at a properly oriented plug, the slot on the right will be the hot and the slot on the left will be the neutral. And the neutral will also have a wider blade. Now this plug does not have that kind of polarization to it. But if you plug this in with the cord hanging down, which is my intent, because it's a low profile plug meant to do that, then the blade on the right facing away from you would be the hot and the one on the left would be the neutral. Yeah, to further identify it, the cord has printing on one of the two conductors, and I've designated the printed side as the neutral. So when you get over here inside the lamp, what you want to do is tie all the neutrals together and then run the hot through the switch. And this switch is a two-position switch, and what it does is it has, well, three positions. It has off, one lamp on, both lamps on. Now we'll plug it in, see if it smokes. One, first, second, both. Now there it is. I'm very happy with that. One thing I forgot to do, and I decided to come back and do this, is you want to put a knot in the cord so it can't just be pulled out. Because that would not be good if that happened. So we got one down, one to go, and on the one to go I'm thinking about using these red strawberry things. I'm not sure if that's going to work out or not. In any case, between sourcing the parts, waiting for paint to dry, and doing all the work, making the video, I've been on this job for a month. It's time to wrap this up. So if you want to see this job, find me on Instagram. My name there is wildman.tech. I'm happy to answer any questions in doobly-doo below, so please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click up here to see my last video. Click over here to see something of mine that YouTube thinks you'll like, and have a good one.